Hello, everybody, and welcome back to I've Got Next. Today we have Rick Davis of Prime Real Estate Network. Again, Rick Davis of Prime Real Estate Network. Thank you so much for coming today and giving us some of your time to let us know a little bit about yourself. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your company?
No, it's a pleasure. And I want to thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of your platform, man. It's been my pleasure to be the founder of the Prime Real Estate Network team over at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm in Houston, Texas. We're all services real estate brokerage where we work with buyers, sellers, professional investors, as well as mentor, train, and educate the next generation of real estate professionals. So, as the leader of the Prime Real Estate Network team, man, this has been something that I've been so proud to lead for the past 3 years. Part of not only leading the real estate team, we've also founded the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. And on our show, we have new episodes every Thursday. We try to highlight the best and brightest of the real estate talent in and around the great state of Texas, especially here in Houston. So, it's been something that I've always look forward to doing because, as an entrepreneur and business owner, networking is the key. So this just gives me an opportunity to bring all my past clients, past business partners, and members of my audience totally face to face and in contact with the people that I work with on a regular basis. Because, sometimes in real estate, a lot of real estate professionals try to make it seem as if they handle it all on their own. But I try to expose every member of the team so that when you work with me, and so you'll have an idea of when I tell you we have the inspector coming out, you'll have a name and a face, and you almost feel like you've met the inspector before because, people like inspectors and appraisers. Sometimes they're those faceless, nameless people, but they are instrumental to making sure the real estate community and the real estate process works smoothly. So I just try to spotlight all those talented people in the process.
I like to hear it. How long have you been doing it?
Man, I've been doing real estate. Not to date myself, but I originally was licensed in the state of Nevada way back in '06. So I practiced real estate on the West Coast here in Houston. I'm licensed in Atlanta and I work in Georgia as well. So from that standpoint, man, the last 15 years has been really exciting. It's allowed me to gain experience in 3 different regions of the country. Okay. And have an idea of how those needs of the people who live in those areas of the country, how they may differ a little bit from each other.
Okay. How long has your company been in business?
Well, the Prime Real Estate Network, man, we were established in 2018, man. So we're coming up on the 4-year anniversary. We're in our 4th season of the podcast. And I've been just shocked and so pleasantly surprised at how the online content, the podcast space has allowed me to build up the real estate team and attract some of that best and brightest talent. Because you'll be surprised how many really talented real estate professionals there are who may, for whatever reason, not necessarily be achieving their personal and professional goals. So I like networking with those and try to help close in those gaps or fill in those cracks in what it is they want to have to achieve their dream.
Okay. Let's go back to the beginning because this month we're talking about entrepreneurship while having a job.
Yes.
Which is how a lot of us started. So you said you started in '06, but you started your company in 2018.
Yes.
So 12-year period where you were punching the clock. Now,
yes.
Talk a little bit about having the idea, still working, still putting some money behind your idea, but having to keep your 9 to 5. Well, I just said that because we really don't have 9 to 5s anymore.
Right.
But keeping your 9 to 5 going so you can fund your dream until you're able to make your dream a reality.
Oh, no. And it's so important. That's why I was so excited to be a part of tonight's episode with you, because like you mentioned, I had 12 years where I worked professionally in the real estate sphere, but I worked for a nationally traded developer. So for lack of a better term, I was the sales guy that you meet in the sales office when you go to new communities, new neighborhoods where you go in, you sit down with the professional, you talk about what home you want to build, go over pricing, what type of things, closing, that type of thing. Gotcha. So I did that for, like you say, more than a decade. And what that allowed me to do was gain experience, not just in the sales aspect of real estate, but to have an idea about margins, pricing, lots and the whole big picture perspective, I was able to get an idea of how the sausage is made, in other words.
Yes.
And after doing that for 10 years, you know how it is just anything you're passionate about. Once you educate yourself, you tend to get more confident that if I was running this shop, I'd do things a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a chance to see some of the inefficiencies in the market. And it gives you an opportunity to think about how you can fix those inefficiencies. So that's just the motivation that caused me to get out of the sphere of working for the developer and having the confidence to go out and start my own brand and start to leverage my own knowledge and influence.
I want to talk a little bit about what you just said, because I believe that the whole knowing how the sausage is made, because I've been in recruiting since 2008, dating myself also. And every place I was at, I was like, why are we doing it this way? If we skip these 2 steps and add another step right here, this would make it more efficient. But as you know, some people don't care about your thoughts, especially when you're low on the totem pole, so you work your way up. And I don't know about you, but I kept like a journal. I started to say, I'm going to do my own company. I started journaling like crazy. Like, hey, let me try this. Hey, let me look at this. Hey, it's still by my bed to this day. I have so many journals in my bedroom, but if I come up with ideas, I write them down. The good thing about having a job and working in your industry, not just knowing how the sausage is made, but how you can make it taste better.
Right.
And there are people who are willing to listen to you like, oh, okay, that's a great idea. Let's work on that. And then they use your idea. You either don't get credit, you don't get more money because of it, things of that nature. But the background that me and you have is invaluable with what we're going forward in our own companies. So I love that part. I want to touch on something you said a little bit earlier. You said everybody likes to act like they do it on their own, but you need a team, and I'll highlight my team.
Yes.
First of all, I love that. My favorite saying is your network is your net worth. Yes. Whoever you have around you will determine your thoughts, your feelings, how you do your business. If you're around other entrepreneurs, they'll motivate you, things of that nature. Talk a little bit more about that, because I tell people all the time, my team is probably one of the most important parts of my business. There's things I just don't know how to do. You know what I'm saying? So talk a little bit more about that.
Well, it's interesting. Your ideas as an entrepreneur and business owner have to evolve over time. You can't be stagnant. And as I've evolved in my career, I've noticed the habits of the consumer, those buyers and sellers, what they require has changed over time. When I first started, it was all about that personal time, the face-to-face interaction, the customer service. But now you fast forward 15 years, people want ease, efficiency, less invasive, let's do it right now. So what I've had to adjust to is that now the consumers, they don't want to have to research what it is that you do. They want it to be out front, visible, and for your entire organization to be an open book. That's what is so interesting about the popularity of real estate reality shows on television, because normally the business of real estate doesn't seem to necessarily be that entertaining on the surface. But when you see the ratings of these shows, how passionate the viewership is and how the comments online, you see that people really are starving to know what's happening behind the scenes of the real estate business. So just what I've just tried to do is to be transparent, to be an open book, to let people know that this isn't magic. Anyone who wants to get involved in real estate investment, it is attainable for everyone. And just in my experience, when you allow people to know this is the lender, this is who you'll be working with. This is not just a name of someone and you'll put your information in a database and get on robocalls. No. This is the gentleman that's going to make sure you're in a position to move and close in on the home. So that's one of the things that I'm most excited about serving in this industry.
Okay. Okay. Another thing I want to touch on two more points that you brought up a little bit. Mentorship. Did you have one? And then how did you get into mentorship on your own?
You know, my story is pretty unique from that standpoint. I have a business partner, is also one of my lifelong friends.
Okay.
He had a vision to work in the real estate industry when we were as young as 18, 19 years old.
Okay.
We were in college together. We were college teammates. And I hadn't committed to an entrepreneurial path at that time. But I was exposed to not only real estate as an industry, but also as a profession. I saw that you got out of it what you put in, and it allows you to build something that you can sustain, not just now, but in the future, and you can pass on to the next generation. So for that standpoint, I was able to see and then work with and build with not only a business partner, but also a mentor and also a trusted advisor. So I always tell all the new people, find someone either within your brokerage or within your sphere of influence that'll hold you accountable while at the same time serve as an example for not only work ethic, but stick-to-itiveness and organization. And if you can find those things in a mentor, you're on your path to success. And you can be successful way sooner than a lot of people think. You just got to surround yourself and network with the right individuals.
So you had a really good mentor. How did you get into like mentorship? Like, was it something that somebody just was like, hey, because what I tell a lot of people, like, hey, ask somebody, like, hey, do you know how to do this? Or say, I'm looking for a mentor. There are people who want to give you all of their knowledge, but people rarely ask us. Very rarely ask people as you get to become like senior in your in what you do. So how did you start your mentorship? Like you told me how you got yours, but you said I got in the mentorship. Like, how did you get into that?
Well, you know, it's interesting because I used to be so singular focused, especially being on the sales side of real estate. It was always about the numbers, getting another home sold, getting another unit off the market, getting it closed, and let's move on to the next assignment. But my success, and I really became truly successful when I started being able to leverage volunteerism and giving back and making that one of the foundational pieces of my marketing and of my promotional strategies, not only for the companies, but also my own company and myself. So as I started to volunteer more, as I started to give more of myself from a philanthropic standpoint, I started coming in contact with people who then would step out and ask for advice or ask for me to lend them some of my expertise or experience when it comes to certain topics, certain decision making, or certain avenues to take. So I almost I evolved into the mentorship space, but I had to make a conscious decision, and I did this about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, to say yes more often. I'm so passionate about what it is that I commit to that when people would approach me with different ventures, sitting on different boards, being part of different organizations, social clubs, etc., if it didn't work and didn't fit within my regimented schedule at the time, I would always regretfully decline. But what I realized over time is that the more you give to yourself, especially in the entrepreneurial community, it gives back to you tenfold. So my advice to all those entrepreneurs, especially those that have had the luxury of being successful, who have been blessed with goal achievement and being able to scale up their companies to where they are actually in a position where people are coming to them for expertise and education. Just consider the value of saying yes more often and how much in return you'll get for just giving a small piece of yourself to the community.
When I tell you that resonated with me so much, I almost got goosebumps because I remember I came from a sales then to recruiting background. And as you
So
know,
you understand everything I'm saying.
in sales, I was in retail, then retail sales management. Your bonus is based on your sales.
Yes.
So if I take time off to help you, in my mind, which was completely wrong, by the way, I'm taking away from my sales. And as a manager, your sales pay me too. I'm not taking away, I'm building up other people. Other thing is within other jobs, say it like what you're just talking about, if you can teach somebody, you've mastered your skill.
Yes.
You don't really know you've mastered your skill until I can tell somebody else exactly what to do, who to go to, things of that nature. Now I've mastered it. Now I can go into mastering another skill, which helps you if you're working in 9 to 5. It also helps you in the world of what we're doing, the entrepreneurship world, because now it's like, okay, I know I can do this, this, and this, and this is some other things I need to work on to make myself better, to make my company better. Let me tap into different things and let me learn different things so I can keep moving forward. Like you said, the people who were blessed enough to be successful. So yes, that helps so much. And I understand the singular focus, like, no,
Yes.
I got something to do. No, I got to go make the sale. I got to go do this. But then it just comes down to I'm teaching other people. The whole team is doing better. And even in certain team aspects, your bonuses are bigger. If everybody hits the target, now your bonus is even bigger. But being younger, I was just so, nope, it's all about me. I'm not worried about it. So what you said touched me because I lived it. So I know exactly what
we all go through that stage because a lot of time I read in a book that for highly successful people, what motivates them are their insecurities. What gets you out of bed at 4:45 in the morning is the same thing that from the time you were a young boy that made you be like, nah, I think I'm a little bit better than you think I am.
Yep.
We all have those insecurities that fuel us and drive us. From someone like a Michael Jordan or LeBron James to somebody who's heading up a Fortune 500 company. And one of the things that I've just always tried to always hold on to is that initial hunger. What it was that at one time made me be willing to stay up or stay at the office till 1 o'clock in the morning, to wake up at 4:45 and not to lose that particular hunger. Because those things, when you lose that spark, that's when you know it's time to reset, refocus, and find a new challenge. So I urge everyone in your audience, man, just hold on to those things that used to fuel you and drive you, because those things will serve you. Oh my goodness, it'll serve to be your catalyst through your entire career.